Hello, my name is David Scott, aka NeoCervox/Remedy, and this is my Phoenix ROM video. When I first started my Phoenix ROM video, I knew I wanted to make something that was really ambitious over all the other Phoenix ROM videos. Before I even touched anything involving the actual video, I did some brainstorming. I basically tried to picture what the video would be like in my head, I took notes, and when I felt I was confident about what I put together, I put my ideas into motion. This first scene right here was some random sound bites I found off of yteamnd.com. It's basically Arnold Schwarzenegger and Napoleon Dynamite talking. This was the very first scene I did, so I wanted to keep it really simple. This is a scene from the movie Anger Management, starring Adam Sandler. One of the hardest things about this particular scene was synchronizing Selwit's arm movements with the music in conjunction with his lips. Let me tell you, it's hard enough to get lips to match audio, but to get the arms to match at the same time was really difficult for me. As a bonus, I also chose to use Von Karma because seeing him sing is always a ride for me. This scene might take some explaining to those who don't get the joke. A while back ago, GameFAQs did a popularity contest poll. What made this contest so special was it was Phoenix Wright's very first attempt as a competing character. Well, in the very first round, Phoenix was up against Gordon Freeman, who was the protagonist of the popular PC series Half-Life. It was close, but Gordon ended up beating him, so Phoenix Wright fans were pretty mad about it. So this scene was my tribute to them to get revenge on Gordon, I guess. This is a scene from the Miller Lite commercial featuring Jim Mora. This scene was kind of difficult because I had to fit both Phoenix and Edgeworth onto one bench. As for Matt and Garde popping up, I don't really know why I threw him in. I guess it's because it looks like he's holding Coors Light or something. But I chose Detective Gumshoe as Coach Mora because I thought it looks funny when he gets mad. Again, this is another Arnold versus Napoleon Dynamite segment. I did two things special in this scene. One, I decided to use a close-up sequence of Edgeworth, which I've noticed many Phoenix ROM videos shy away from doing, for whatever reason. And second, I decided to have Edgeworth do an actual objection. Again, I don't see this happen on a lot of videos, so I thought it'd be interesting to do. Alright, the Geico segment. This one took me a long time, probably the second or third hardest scene of my entire video. Just like the Coach Morris segment, I'm using two characters, so I had to fit them in. I had to do a lot of adjusting and repositioning to make them complement the scene. You'll notice right here that Wellington's face kind of moves a little while he's talking. This was probably my only regret with the entire video, but I felt like I spent way too much time on this scene as it was, so I didn't want to fix it. I would have to say this was the second hardest segment of the entire video. Dr. Gray, he likes to fan his face a lot when he gets mad, and this was insanely difficult because each frame, I had to compensate for each frame of his fanning with his hand movement. Basically, I had a lot of frames in this video, and it was a major hassle to do. And the director was just as bad, because basically he always scratched himself, so I had to compensate for all those frames every time he scratched himself all over the place. I mean, it was just like the Saw Wit scene back a while ago, only 10 times worse. I had to use these characters because this particular scene is from the comedy series Scrubs, which is a medical comedy series, and I wanted to use actual doctor-like oriented people for the actual scene to make it look like it complements the segment. I had a lot of fun doing this scene with Damon Gant. I watched my videos about a dozen times for testing purposes, so I had to stare into his eyes for God knows how long. And I wanted to use Damon Gant though because I know a lot of Phoenix ROM videos didn't have the extracted sprites of him at the time, so I thought it'd be cool to throw him in my video, since I was fortunate enough to have the resources from Kroik.com available to me, so I figured I might as well use them. I wanted a Zelda parody scene in my video to give Phoenix a chance to say his "excuse me, princess" line, which if you've played the second Phoenix Wright game, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll notice the characters aren't sweating though, when they should be, because synchronizing sweat drops with the lips was too hard and not worth the trouble. Pretty much ditched them. I decided to save my personal best scene for last. This is a parody of the popular Napoleon Dynamite dance segment. Originally, I was not going to have this scene in my video, but while I was sleeping one night, it popped into my head, and I just had to add it, so I did this last scene pretty much on the last day. I dedicated one whole day to this scene. This was the hardest scene, both in regards to the time it took and the actual challenge. mostly because I was constantly tweaking Salmonella's dancing to make it look like he was actually dancing, as opposed to limping around the place. But I kid you not, this scene alone took me probably 10 hours. I don't know. I honestly, I lost track of time, okay? Because that's how long this scene took me to make. This was the hardest scene, but at the same time, I wanted kind of a grand finale to finish off my video. Even though it took me a long time, I think it was worth it. And plus, I had a lot of fun doing this scene, too, because I like, broke out laughing every time I watched this scene. I mean, after, like, the 100th time of me testing it, obviously I'm not laughing at it anymore, because I've gotten so sick of watching it, but I can't imagine what it's like for a fresh pair of eyes to see this segment for the very first time. I'll be anxious to hear from you guys as to what your opinion is on this particular segment and how hard you might have laughed, if at all. Well, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop me an email or leave me a YouTube comment. As for whether I have plans for making a second Phoenix Drawn video, I might, if I come up with enough material. Right now, I have a few fun ideas I'd like to try, but I still need more content to make it work. So if I come up with enough, then I will consider it. Thank you, and thank you for watching.